Hopefully the audio is not absolutely horrendous for this episode, but this is a spur of the moment, off the cuff sort of episode, so do forgive me. Maybe it'll be a mini-sode because I have not actually put any forethought into this, but was inspired at this moment while I'm sitting at the playground and my oldest son is playing. I wanted to talk about this idea of transition and doing what needs to be done, especially when you are a single parent or you've gone through a breakup and so your life has shifted significantly in some way. Because for me, so this is inspired by personal events, I'm currently in the process of interviewing for jobs, which is a big shift for me because I've been in private practice about 7 years, and initially it was very part-time, but it's been years now that it's been my full-time job. And so I have gotten used to a certain lifestyle, particularly in regards to flexibility with my time and being able to do things like what I'm doing at this moment, sitting at the playground at 3:20 p.m. after just picking up my kid, and being able to sit here and have hours ahead of me of open free time for us. And I was sitting here just kind of relishing in that, and then also realizing, hey, this could be some of the last days that you get to do this in this way, on a weekday, because you are planning to get a more structured job. And there are reasons for that. Right now, like where I am financially and some of the goals that I have for me and my kids, I want some more financial consistency and stability that is a little harder to get being in private practice and having your own business. There are those ups and downs and ebbs and flows. And I don't plan to completely give up my practice. And eventually, down the road, I plan to get back more heavily into it. But for a period of time in my life, I very much want that stability and consistency that an agency job would provide. Forgive the audio change. I started recording this episode days ago while I was on the playground, and now I'm at my desk. So to pick up where I left off, I just want to talk about transitions, the need for them, the natural existence of them in life. And some transitions are for good reasons, some are for not so good reasons, some are difficult or challenging or uncomfortable, but you know that they are beneficial in the long term, though they may be hard in the short term. I would say that my current transitions are different and uncomfortable in the short term, and it has taken time to get to a place to decide that this is what I need and want to do for myself and my family. But I know that I'm doing it for the long-term benefit. So this goes very much into knowing your why. I'm a big proponent of knowing your why. I believe I have an episode about it. If I don't, I need to make one. But if I do, I will link it in the show notes. Always check the show notes. But knowing your why is knowing why you're doing a challenging or difficult thing. And it's very important to know your why because it's a motivating factor for you to continue going. So for me, I really want to start the beginnings of generational wealth for my family, for my kids and their kids, and so on and so forth. And there is a certain lifestyle that I want to live that requires certain discipline and certain shifts and changes in my current ways of saving and spending money, investing, business choices, things like that. So this is just me acknowledging the anxiety, the fear, the concern, the challenge of making changes and shifts to what you know and to what you want. I knew since going into grad school that I wanted to go into private practice for myself. And I've worked hard to get here. And so it's not something I intend to give up, but it is something that is shifting for me right now. That's going to look a bit different than it has for the past few years. And by going into a more traditional job, I will be able to continue doing therapy while also being able to focus more on the coaching side of my business, which is the part that is much newer and that is still being built up. And it's the part that tends to get neglected when having to focus so significantly on the therapeutic side. So I will continue doing therapy, but it will be through an agency or another private practice or something like that. And I will be able to better focus on the breakup recovery and dating coaching, which I'm excited about. So this is just ultimately me stopping in to acknowledge the challenges of having to make transitions in your life. You know, it could be after a breakup. There's so many things that tend to change about someone's life when they leave or end a romantic relationship. But it also doesn't have to be due to a breakup. It can be anything that has us change and shift our plans. And ultimately, I think it starts with identifying what your long-term goals are and working backwards from there to identify what you need to do to make those happen. I want myself and my children to be financially stable and well in the present, but I want my children to also have a good financial foundation moving forward, you know, as they go into adulthood, you know, if they decide to go into college or, you know, invest or start businesses or any of that, I want to be a helpful part of that for them. I want to travel more and really see my travel significantly increase as my children get older, and when they eventually, you know, fly the coop, you know, leave the nest, then I want to go on and live some of my most fabulous travel dreams. I've been to Italy once, and it's calling me. It's calling me back. I want to go many, many times. I have this idea of making it a second home at some point, but who knows? Maybe that will change. I just know that I want to see more of the world. And so, yeah, there are some big things ahead for us, and I'm excited. And I also recognize that there is some real practical things I need to do now to make those happen. So whatever the transitions are that you're dealing with, I just want to say, I hear you, I see you, I feel you. And though it may be challenging or a bit scary, that it is so worth you checking in with yourself and your dreams and your goals and desires and asking yourself what needs to be done to make those happen, and start taking the baby steps, the step-by-step process of doing them. For me to get to the point of bothering to apply for traditional jobs, it has been months in the making, because I worked so hard to be able to be in private practice and have the flexibility, which I cannot beat, the flexibility of with my schedule. And one of my goals was to be able to pick up and drop off my child at school. And that worked very well for me because I happen to live somewhere where I cannot have my child take the bus to school because we live too close to his school. So I have to pick up and drop off. And thank goodness I have the schedule that allows that. But now I'm going to have to make shifts that are going to involve him going to the after school program, which is something that I think has great benefits for him, or could have great benefits for him. But I also had to adjust to the idea of it and what that meant for our time together, what that will mean for our schedule, me getting dinner ready, you know, our extracurriculars, all sorts of things. And so me recognizing that I have some longer term goals that make these changes worth it. So this is just a quick episode on transitions, the need for them, the realities of them, and making intentional shifts that help you get to where you want to be and live the life you want to live. Hey, by the way, I can be found in other places beyond this podcast. Search my name on YouTube and you'll find my channel. Subscribe for periodic how-to videos for dealing with breakups and mastering dating. That's right, I said mastering dating. It's a skill, ladies. I can also be found on Instagram at tracypanock.datingcoach. And lastly, I most encourage you to join my email list where you get breakup and dating support delivered to your inbox in addition to getting the most exclusive access to my programs and coaching services. My email list subscribers are the first to know when my coaching programs launch and the only people to get discounts when they're offered.